Welcome, everyone. I'm Violeta Stoica. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we're doing another exciting episode of Find Your Path interview series. And this is all about people's passions. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in Romania. I have a background in nursing and psychotherapy. And I've been doing QHHT for 14 years. I've trained with Dolores Cannon herself twice. I met her twice in England back in 2010 and 2011. And then I became a level 3 in 2021. So I've been doing this at this level for 3 years. And I'm very passionate about my work, and I am inviting fascinating clients of mine that had sessions with me that are on some beautiful paths, and to tell you, to share with you how they've come to this point in their lives. And I'm hoping to be an inspiration, them to be an inspiration to you to follow your heart calling. And without further ado, I invite Alissa Omega, my guest today, to introduce herself. Welcome, Alissa, and thank you for
Oh,
being
thank
here.
you. It's my pleasure. Love, you have the most beautiful energy. I loved my session with you. It was incredible. I listen back to it frequently. It's been amazing. Yes, hi, Alissa Omega. It's a big transition year for me. I have really tried very hard, I'd say, in the last like 6 years to transform myself, my life, my understanding, my heal from past traumas and rewrite who I am. So even just my name, like Omega, I didn't actually, I'm remarried, and I didn't take my husband's name, and he didn't take my name. We came up with our last name together because we wanted to start a new, basically allow ourselves to say, like, we're not conforming to like our ancestors. Instead, we're like inviting ourselves and our ancestors and our children and every single person in the world, basically to say like we are all one, we are all family. And instead of a last name separating us, I wanted a last name that like embodied what I've learned to accept about myself, about God, about love, about all things that have to do about where we are all end up going back to at the end. So kind of Omega was really this really big awakening moment to me of seeing like where we, if we start with the idea of like we start this individual, alpha, we see ourselves so separate from everybody else. Like to me, the end is recognizing all those little parts are all go back together to be one whole beautiful God self that we all are, and we're just like expressions in individual ideas of what God is. So that's my name, my last name, and my journey to get there. Alissa Omega was a big one, but I'm just grateful to be here today and for you to have invited me through the beautiful QHHT session in order for me to truly embody and step into what I felt like could possibly be my highest potential in my life. And just being able to hear myself through this session gave me enough like power to believe in myself, to understand very clearly what it is, where I need to go with very specific steps. And it's not just like some great, you're meant to be a healer. It's like, no, do this. Like our higher selves literally have all the answers. All we got to do is ask, and to hear yourself embody such a confident, like loving energy that knows you, loves you, and has all the answers and is just waiting for you to ask the right questions. It's incredible. So I know that's probably maybe more than you were asking, but that's the beginning.
Would you like to tell your audience, our audience, where are you? Where do you
Okay.
live? Where are you?
Mesa. I'm not too far away from you. Mesa, Arizona. I am like Signal Butte and Baseline, right on like the East Mesa side. live here with my husband and mine, and our kids, 5 boys. So always a big party, but we created this space here for all the magical experiences and healing and spiritual enlightenment and really anything and everything that has to do with healing our hearts and coming back to oneness with who we truly are, empowering ourselves and all that good stuff.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your introduction. I just want to point out that I didn't know about your name, or I don't remember, but Omega is the oneness. This is how I see it. There's that expression from Alpha to Omega, and your name starts with an A, Alissa. Alissa Omega. It's so beautiful from A to Omega, that beautiful sign. All right. So, Alissa, please tell me, what is your passion? What are you most passionate about as of now in your current circumstances in life?
Yes. Okay. Well, oh man, it's incredible to awaken to how much passion we actually have. And children are born with this passion, but I, for one, and I think the most of humanity has lost this like incredible passion. And I'm a firm believer that passion is like the gift, the God source that gave us a frequency of knowing when we're on the right path. So like if it doesn't feel good what you're doing, there's probably a higher path for you where if you truly are living your passion, oh my gosh, I'm right where I'm going to be supported the most by the universe, because it's not going to be giving me all this signs that you're in the wrong spot. So how I found my passion and what my highest passion is at this point in my life truly has everything to do with holding a frequency of love and healing and understanding, like, I guess holding that higher perspective of where we're all going, and then inviting other people to recognize that same frequency within themselves and the healing power that they have within themselves to actually do all the things that Christ himself came down to embody and show us. Say, like, look, we're all capable of this. There's a higher love. There's a knowing that you are a child of God, like you are God in form of a child. And we're all here, truly, I believe, to embody our highest passion. And that we've had a lot of trauma around like, oh, passion's not worthy of like your time and attention. You got to do stuff that's like good for everybody else and good for your bank account, But I actually believe that we were designed, that if we really truly lean into our passion, that we were designed to live the highest form of our life here. So if we truly embody it, and that's what I'm trying to do, which was very hard for me to truly lean into that kind of faith when I was having to go bankrupt and step away from the company that I'd built for 15 years in order to truly go in the direction I knew that I was being called to. And then I was just kind of being cocooning, like, okay, let's heal this. Let's learn every single thing I can think of and learn about. And then when I met you and we did our session, it was like this big like awakening moment where it's like, it's time. And I know I talked so much about like, I had this fear of being like, but if I put myself out there, even with like my knowledge, like my spiritual knowingness and like anything channeling higher frequency and love and light, that I would be like rejected, or there was even this inner like people might like, yeah, there's just every fear that could go through your mind. And it was like, okay, how do I truly trust that? And so hearing from myself through my session, like, you don't understand. By you stepping into this, like all those lessons were previous, like you can let them go. You can know now that you will be protected and that you will be empowered. And it's not going to be a matter of like, oh, now you're going to have so much like coming up against you and it's going to be you against the world. It's going to be like all the ones that are meant to support, love, and connect with you are going to be like, oh my gosh, like sister, like there you are. It's not going to be just rejection everywhere, like my mind wants to say. If I truly step in and show who I truly am and what I truly know and what I truly feel, that I would have that. So my higher self is just like, you got this. It's going to be incredible. Everything's going to unfold beautifully. And And now having stepped into, I don't even know if I've said it yet. I in my session, it was told that I'm meant to become a QHHT practitioner myself. And in doing so, yay, like especially in the last, I'd say 6 weeks, it's just been incredible seeing that in the sessions, like everybody's higher self is so beautifully synced and so incredibly profound and unbelievably loving. And it's like we all have this inside of us. We all have it inside of us. And so many people don't even realize it. And because they don't realize it, they're like going on like, oh, I'm so alone in this world. I feel so alone. But like, yet right inside of us, if we know where to find it and just go in, we have all the support in the entire universe to live our truest life, the dream of, dream of dreams, like, and then co-create that together. And it's a beautiful thing. It seems almost like a fairy tale in so many ways, just the last few months, especially like seeing it all come together and seeing the synchronicities when you truly step into yourself and truly know, like, I am supported and I have a place to go inside myself to get information, to gain any insights or to course correct whatever it is. And it's all in the highest form of love. It's not judgment. There's zero judgment. It's just like, oh, you need help. Like your judgment when you are met with that kind of love is like, oh, you silly, sweet, beautiful creature. Like I had so much love for you this whole time. I know you, I see you. And just the way you would see like your 2-year-old that's like touch something that like hurt them and they're like, they take it personally. They think that like it was mean. They're like trying to hit the, thing that accident, like this is so innocent. And we're so innocent. And we have this judgment because we thought we've done something wrong. And really, reality, like this higher parent of pure love is just like, I'm here, I'm just letting you grow. There's so much love. And it's just incredible to be able to like step into a different reality where that is the core. It's not run by judgment, by control, by trying to like competition and take and like all that stuff. Just like this is fallen away. It's just like this funny game that we played for so long that's really outgrown and we're all ready to step out. We just need to be invited. And that's what our higher self is there to tell us. Like, hey, there's this invitation. It's time. Let's step into this new work together and everything could be beautiful. Believe in yourself. Like all the messages are profound and incredible. So I can't say enough good things about it. Sorry, I keep going on and on.
It's so heart touching.
You asked for passion, so
this is what I meant to tell you. I can feel your passion talking about this. Like it's inside of us. It's inside of us. I love that. And I just want to add a couple of perspectives on this. First of all, we humans sometimes, because this is how I think we're made, we rather know what we don't want to do than what we really want to do. Sometimes we're lost in that. So when we're unhappy, this is the cue we're not on the correct path. So this is when we need to change to steer in a different direction. And then when you get onto it, you feel, you live that passion, the one I can hear in your voice. And there is this word, I'm sure you all heard it, it's called enthusiasm. And it comes from ancient Greek and roughly translated means God's finger pointing you in your meant direction in life.
Interesting. How do you say it again? Enthusiasm?
Yes, enthusiasm. What you're enthusiastic about. Like what excites you. Yes, it's like excitement. Okay. It's also excitement.
Right.
But enthusiasm comes from Greek and it means whatever makes you tick, whatever makes you passionate, whatever makes you excited, that's your path. And it could be a temporary passion, like suddenly I need to get into coloring mandalas. I have this need, and for like 2 weeks I'm going to do this every day, and then it's done because it does something to me. And then if we talk about like long life passion, like your calling is also, the calling makes you excited, makes you happy, makes you vibrate. This is, these are the cues we recognize when we are on our path, and
Yeah.
everyone could see that passion in you, and that's living proof of how well a person feels when they start following that passion. And thank you so much for putting that. That energy was vibrating in our interview. I loved it. I loved it. Thank you. All right. So please, let's go back to your session and share with us whatever you want to share, because this is not, how this, you kind of gave us some insights on how you felt the love in your higher self and all the advice it gave you. If you want to share details, like anything in the session that really helped you understand and come into that more and more, like what was the click moment, or the aha moment, or what was the one detail, or maybe a few details or more, that really pulled you and yeah, pulled you into that direction? What made you follow the advice? Whatever
Yeah.
you want to share.
There was so much. There was so much. It was like the whole 2 hours is just packed. But there's so many things I could say. But one thing that came to my mind that I'll just trust was, and it was really, really helpful that you in particular were like, no, I need details. Like, give me step-by-step instructions. Tell me specifically. Because one of the things I struggled with was like kind of what I was talking about earlier. You get into this feeling of like, I'm alone here. I'm alone in this. How do I do this without the support of the universe? Where are you? And you don't recognize like it's you that's not quite leaning into it. And so I was able to like say specifically, what do I need to do in order to find that inner knowing, that inner voice, that love, and on a daily basis. And part of that was like waking up every morning, and the way I said it was sing your song to mother, like almost it's like a poetic back and forth that starts to make this flow between me and my higher self or mother, the universe, or however you want to see this source thing that we tap into. And by doing so, creates like a momentum that allows you to stay connected on the path that you want, and gives you the power and the energy to bypass old thinking, rewrite whatever your old story is when you come up against it. If you have that initial like connection, it makes such a huge difference in your day, because then you kind of have this trust already built, like, oh, she's there. Well, however you connect, whether it's, Father God, Mother God, or there's the combined two, like knowing that it's there for access whenever you need it makes it so much easier to then keep that with you as you're making your choices and to hold that higher frequency. So that was like probably a very, very significant shift that needed to happen in me, that by getting very specific in those answers while I was holding that high frequency to receive those answers helped me in knowing why it's been so hard to feel connected and what it is I need in order to have that with me on a day-to-day basis. Does that answer?
Yes. So I just have a question that came to me, and I trust it, of course, because this is how we're guided. Um, so now knowing that you have that connection, that presence of that mother energy that you connect to every day, how does that make you feel now, knowing that you have access to it anytime you need, want, or wish?
Powerful. I mean,
Yes.
it truly makes you feel like there's nothing, everything is in your highest good. So anything that's happening is like, you take it as a lesson to be learned. Like, what is this going to give me, provide me, or teach me? And then if you feel like something feels off, and you're like, oh, do I course correct? Like, why do I feel this way? Help me see where I'm looking in the wrong direction, or thinking in the wrong, in a more lower vibration. And so it's just like, as long as you find that connection, you hold that connection, it changes everything, because when you're connected to that, your perspective becomes synced with that. And when your perspective is purely love, and all the love wants to serve you, and that's the true energy. It's like, I love you so much that I created you from me because I wanted to create something so beautiful as you are. When you truly see how much love is flowing to you there, you're like, oh, and you have all the power in the universe. Wow. Then that means
Yeah,
I have all the support of all the power in the universe. And how do I learn how to use that and trust that it's working for my highest good? So it changes.
exactly. I'm never alone. I've never been. The motherly energy, the universe has gotten my back. Now
Yes.
I can do things because I'm not alone and I'm supported. And this is so beautiful and this is so loving to know this. It's
Right.
like very, very empowering, as you said.
Totally.
Yeah, very beautiful description. Thank you so much. And let's see, what, if you want to share with us, what are your future projects? What are you working on now? How are your circumstances going into that direction? And of course, I want to know also how they've changed your life, your state of being, your well being, your relationships. Like if you've seen anything manifested from that affecting your life. It's a
So
complex
much. That's
question. I'm
hard to
sorry.
even like open, but yes, it's been one thing after another with, first of all, the community, like just in so many different ways. I felt like I've in it's almost like growing faster than I can keep up with, when before is like there's no one to connect with, like there's I don't really know, like suddenly it's like anywhere and everywhere connections and like people that I felt like, oh, like people wouldn't connect. I'm so different than I used to be. And what I used to like resonate, and the people that I resonated with, I feel like I wouldn't fit in there. And I didn't know where I would fit in. And it's been incredible to like, once I heard like the community is there, like they're gonna be like welcoming you, like, oh my gosh, I feel just like you. Like totally resonate with you. So community has opened up in a huge way. And then my willingness to open myself up and then pursue things. So like I'm now in a school for Akashic record reading, which is so magical and so cool. And Reiki. I've been doing and I'm getting certified now for level 2 Reiki, but I'm now doing Reiki. And I'm like, it's so cool to be able to see. Like, I feel like QHHT is incredible. And it, to me, is basically Reiki and Akashic Records, like in one, but empowering somebody else to do it for themselves. And you don't have any of like that. It's not your responsibility. Like you're going to give yourself the answers. You know it. And that means when you go home, you get to recognize that's in you and get it anytime you want to, like it empowers them. So like if someone's not ready to step into that, like, or they want to dip their toe in the water, it's like, okay, I'll kind of do that for you with these other things. But ultimately, I really want them to go to QHHT because that's all about empowering yourself and finding that within yourself and not needing me to do that for you, which is, it's a wonderful thing to be able to do something like that for somebody. But ultimately, what I want is to empower people to find it within themselves. And so that's why, like, those three things work so well together. And that's what I love doing. And I could do either, but like, and I'm still finishing school. Like I will be done and then we're also, sorry, there's so much. We're doing that. We felt called to do this Ireland trip. Is kind of so amazing. Like I would think like, oh, I would like a year to prepare in order to like get ready for such a big trip. But like a month ago, we got this call, like a spiritual call, where it's like, you need to be here and you need to be here on this date. And this is the time you needed to do it. And we were like, it's just like everything fit like exactly the way it needed to do in order for it to, we're like, okay, I'll trust it. And then like in order to line up the kids' schedules, in order to have other people, in order to, the place we had to go had to have certain aspects aligned, and everything just magically came together. And so part of our, going there, we also believe that like Mother Earth, also like our planet, has a consciousness, and that we've kind of, as human race, have really uh, hurt her in a lot of different energetic ways, and our energy has built up some negative stuff around her. So we also do like earth healing work So we're doing that partially, and then inner child, just trying to reconnect the grids and doing these really amazing things. Like if I would have like heard myself like 6 years ago, sorry, I'd be like, what the heck? I don't know who you are. You're crazy. I don't even know how to connect with you. Like you're out there. You're so mystical, magical, fairy. But it's like suddenly like that is real. The rest was like I'm living this like limited life with such limited
Yep.
expression, limited love, limited passion. And now every day is magical. And me and my husband together and our little family is magical and it's wonderful. And I don't care if anybody else doesn't like it because I'm happy and I'm living my path and
Yes.
my happiness. And suddenly when you do that, it's like, okay, I guess I don't need everybody else's approval. But the magical thing is when you truly embody that higher frequency of love for yourself, suddenly other people are like, I want to feel like that.
Yes.
What are you taking? Like,
Yeah. What's your
even if
recipe?
I don't understand you, like, what do you make? What makes you feel so free in order to like live that way? Like, whatever it is. And if they don't resonate, that's fine. Like, you can do that, and like, I'll be with my people that do
Mm,
feel like that and do want to embody that. So, total life transformation, like on every single aspect, and it's just it feels like a dream. It is a dream.
wonderful. That's the measure of you being on your path and following it. See, that happiness is the measure. It's such a beautiful proof. Thank you for sharing that. And would you like to go a bit into detail, not too much, but to help the audience understand what kind of community you've created or has been created for you by the universe?
Yes. Well, one kind of, I don't know how deep you want me to go with this, but one of my deeper pains in life has been feeling like I didn't belong, especially in my family unit. So I just always felt different. I always was the black sheep. I always like didn't quite fit in. And I always had this inner feeling of like just wanting to belong, wanting to be accepted like for who I was, right? And I went through this big, long process, and about 6 years ago, I finally was at this point, kind of like what I was telling you about. Like, I was truly like at my like wits end. Like, I had just gone through a third divorce, and I was like, this can't be it. Like, I can't keep repeating. This is so painful. And I don't know how. The only thing that kept me going at that point was because I had a son. I'm like, if I'm supposed to be here for him, I'm just here sacrificially because I was truly in so much pain. I didn't know how. So there was this night I went with a gun and I went into a field and I was like I wasn't going to do anything, but I'm like I need to figure this out and I need to feel like there is an option. And it was like the darkest point of my life. And I was like something has to happen. Something has to change. And I had try in that moment, it was about like an hour. I truly felt every pain of feeling not belonging, the deepest, darkest, most like soul wrenching feeling that, and I didn't. It's like the feeling you're like, I have to make a stop, but I just didn't. I just kept going. I said, like, there's got to be something. There's got to be something. I just felt. And then suddenly, after I had felt it for like scream, cried, just like hurt, it was so much pain. There was suddenly just a stillness, just a nothingness. It was nothing. It wasn't peace. It wasn't joy. It was just nothingness. And suddenly, through that nothingness, because my question was like, if I don't belong, I don't want to be here. Like if I truly don't belong, like why can't I belong? I'm doing anything and everything to try to belong, to be something, to be enough for my family, to be accepted, to like I'm contorting everything I can in order to be something, right? And it came to this point where all of a sudden on the other side of this pain, there was just this still confident voice that showed me like my belonging. Like I suddenly saw this like picture, this image of like our world and these speckled little lights that were like my family, like my soul family, my the ones that truly would feel like this deep sense of belonging, the one that I've been looking for, and that they were all out there, and all I needed to do was like call them to me, right? And suddenly it was like, oh my gosh. And then so then I saw that perspective from my family, and I recognized like you when like that my soul family I came down here to like be here with, I came to this family because I loved this family. I didn't belong to that family, but I loved that family. I wanted to offer my love to that family. And
Oh,
when I finally saw it from that perspective, suddenly I like, oh my gosh, like here I was asking for them to love me in a way that they don't know how to love. And that I came down here to embody in order to love them the way that they deserve to be loved. And that there is actually a whole group of us of the same sense of that deepest belonging feeling scattered around the world. That all that they're there too, waiting to be like called together to feel that belonging, like and in that sense of community. So, and that was quite a while ago. And I first found that sense of community within like, so then I kind of like totally went inward. Like from that point, I was like, I'm going inward. I got to find out like deep down inside me, what is going on? Why is this? There's all this stuff. And I got to truly learn to love myself. So went inward. And then on the outside of that year, that's when all these things started happening. It was 2 months shy of my year goal that I was like going to do this. And I had this incredible dream that said, it's time, you're ready. And that week is the week that I met my husband. He contacted me to do family pictures, and I wasn't even working at that point, but I just felt like I needed to do it. So anyway, so from that point on, every just miracle upon miracle, first found my community just in my family, and I cocooned myself. And then since you, and I was like, your community is there, just call out. I started doing the QHHT, and then I started putting myself out there. And it's just like the first one I went to the reunion in Thailand. I stood up back at the end. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was told this by like my higher self or God 5 years ago. And I had found it inside my family. This is the first time I've ever felt like, oh my gosh, like I resonate with you guys, like in my heart, in a sense of belonging and acceptance that I've been longing for and looking forward to. And since then, it's just grown, and it's just like it's unfolding, and it's beautiful. And they're not even most of them aren't even in like Arizona, but like just knowing that they're there and you can like contact them, and that they're just resonating the way that you feel accepted and loved around the world with that kind of love empowers you as well. But I did
mhm.
have to first find it in me, be told like it's there, that just find it in myself. I just was like inward, find it in me, embody it. And then suddenly it was my little family, and I worked with that. And then now it's like getting bigger, but it all had to do with faith, and it all had to do with being willing to feel the pain of probably centuries of unfelt family trauma, of this not belonging and trying to be something you're not and not accepted, that like I had to get past that in order to truly embody what I came down here to embody, which is this just love, frequency of love and acceptance that I
Mhm.
had before I came here. I didn't understand because I had to forget to be here, and finally embodying that, and then now sharing that frequency with the rest of anyone that's willing to hear. That's kind of my
Yeah.
mission.
Do you want to talk about the reunion you're creating next week, or
Oh
because
yes, for
that's another
sure.
community that I wanted you to touch
Oh,
upon?
gotcha. Well, I went somewhere totally different, but I guess we were meant
No, no,
to.
no. I loved your answer. It was beautiful, but going to like specific,
Yeah,
you're
so
creating
next week,
something.
right.
This is your doing.
Yes.
This is how I see it. You are doing this.
So I reached out to any and all the level one practitioners in Arizona to be like, hey, I'm starting this, and we can do exchange of sessions because I wanted to create community, and I wanted to just get the ball rolling. And I was so surprised when I even looked to find everybody's email. My husband mostly did a lot of the work. He's super supportive, but there was like nearly 100 of
Wow.
people that were in level one just in Arizona. I'm
Just
like,
in
oh my.
Arizona, and where we live.
And
Wow.
from there was 40 very interested people that wanted to connect and wanted to be like in this community. So that's what we started. So I have about 25 RSVPs that are coming to my house next Saturday just to do a meet and greet, drink some wines and cheese, enjoy ourselves, and empower each other and community.
This is really what I I wanted to point out today because it's such a beautiful doing. You're creating this community of QHHT family locally in the state of Arizona. So if anybody hears this in this interview and they want to reach out to you, are they
Yes.
welcome, even though if they're not level one interns, they
Well,
could be
this is not
level
going to be the
two.
last time. We are full. We have a full house. Can't fit anymore, but we want to start doing it like every 3 months. So yes, reach
Yeah.
out. Find us on Facebook. It's just Arizona QHHT practitioners. I will definitely add you and come be part of the community.
That's so
Love it.
beautiful. And you're open to all levels, right? Not you don't want
Yes,
to keep
yes,
it
all
just
of them.
level one
That was
interns.
just the ones that I had in the email. But now since then, I found other people that just type in QHHT Arizona and they've been added. So I
And
really
I
should
just
probably just go and do the same thing that I did with others, just to invite them all, and we would probably have
yeah,
much more.
I think so. And I just want to tell the audience that I've got invited to, and I feel very honored. I just can't be there because in 2 days I'm leaving to California because I have two locations in Prescott, Arizona and San Diego, California. So I won't be able to be with you guys, but
Next
I'll be
time.
in spirit. I'll come next time with all my heart. But I wanted to point this out because I really believe in what you're doing. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful thing of creating community. You see the need out there in the world, and because there's nothing to satisfy that need, you create something that will fill in that need, right?
Right. And I came from, like, community was our religion. Like that was what you did. It was handed to you. You had your duties in order to be friends with these certain people, and you had to reach out to them. And that's how you create your community, and that's what you're meant to do, which is beautiful. I still have that community. We still work with our missionaries and our, I'll never, if you're born into any religion, I don't think it truly ever leaves you. It's just a part of you. I outgrew it, but I love it. I respect it. I understand that some people, that is exactly where they want to be right now, and that is beautiful. Don't ever want to, like, have anybody feel like, oh, their religion is wrong or bad. Like, it's for you. Like, whatever's for you is for you. But for me, I recognized that I needed to resonate and connect in a different way, but I had nothing. I didn't work from, like, I didn't have a workplace. I'm like, hey, let's make friends. Didn't have religion anymore. And all my friends and my community was all LDS in a way. So that was the main reason why, like, 3.5 years, I didn't have community. And when I came to you, I'm like, I need community. I don't know where to find it because I don't have anything I used to have. So trusting the universe, like, okay, I don't know how these people are going to come in, but I'm just going to live my purpose and trust that they will. And suddenly it's like, here you go, do this, do this, do this. And it's like, I'm creating it myself. And I bet that other people, and those are the responses, was really cool. Like, how amazing is this? There's so many of us, and so many other people were feeling the same way. And now they feel a sense of community that I was able to create just by leaning into my desire and passion for community. So it's beautiful when we truly live our passion.
Yeah, interestingly enough to me, I observed it and I will say it. I hope you don't mind. It's like the community you grew up in, even though it wasn't your perfect match, it taught you how to create communities and you use
Yes,
that recipe to create this one.
right.
That's so beautiful.
Absolutely. Yes.
So
Yes.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, just obviously everything that we outgrow or we gain our lesson from and move on from, like, the worst parts of them are usually the deepest, most profound lessons and the most important tools that you will then use in your life, or else you wouldn't have called it in for yourself.
Exactly. Exactly.
Pain of losing myself to a religion and then finding myself outside of the religion, like, has given me an understanding and a love for all religions and all people still that do resonate inside that more confined belief system than that works for them. It didn't work for me, but it's like now I can see them and not judge them and feel a part of that. Like, no matter what religion you're, like, I get it. If I was never born into it and I just kind of had what I have now, I'd be like, you guys are kind of crazy. Why would you conform yourself? Why would you box yourself in? But I was like, I get it. I absolutely get it. I trust that you're going to find your path the way it's meant to be. And I love that you have whatever support you do have and it works for you. So no judgment, just appreciate. But because I did find that, like, what I experienced as an insider, which is one of the reasons I think that keeps you confined to it, is this fear mentality that when you see your community, when someone steps out of the bounds of what they're allowed to be, they're alienated, rejected, judged, and pushed away. And it's like, and then the people that are leaving have an even greater like anger and resentment and all the things that they then use to be like, see, they're evil, they're of the devil, they're, like, so like to create a new way to be like, I love my church, I love my community, and I'm finding even more. And that doesn't mean I have to leave. That means I could 100% still be there and say my truth and be like, hey guys, I think of it differently. And here's what and like, yeah, you have that belief. Like when you show that to your community and to your religion, where you're like, oh, I'm sorry that you judge me. I'm sorry that this makes you uncomfortable. That's just my truth. And allow them to step away if they need to step away, but you don't have to.
Exactly.
You can be in your space and you can love yourself and you can embody like true acceptance. And that will do more good for yourself and for anyone else because you're inviting them to find that within themselves, even if it makes them uncomfortable. It's like an initiation to those who are judging you because suddenly inside them, it's like, what makes them think they can do that? And they actually have to start questioning and go through, and it gives them a chance to think, well, maybe they can. Well, try a new path, basically.
Yes, being an inspiration and planting a seed.
Yeah, right.
Mhm. So, just to summarize your session, would you say that the main takeaways were you having presented to you this new path of becoming a QHHT practitioner, a Reiki practitioner, a Akashic record reader, and also the other point was to create community.
Yes.
These are the two main takeaways from the session.
Well, one really powerful thing for me was like I had done shamanic journeys before, and in those sessions, it was like always an immediate like connection to mother, source, channeling like this greater love, and then it felt like it was far away from me. So it's like, oh, like I would record it and then listen and try to embody it, but it was like it felt really hard for me to tap into that in a normal day-to-day every morning like we need to do. So one of the big takeaways was like recognizing that I can access like in this theta level sleep state when you truly like meditate and harness your voice in a just true expression way. You have this ability to tap into that. So that has created a way for me to find my voice without needing any substance, not just my voice, but like the voice of true love and a frequency of God, love, source that is there for us in order to harness that and offer that to the world and however it's going to come out. We are starting a podcast together and it's going to be, me and my husband, it's going to be a lot of different important topics, but part of that is just leaning into channeling that loving voice and the teachings of true love from Mother of the Universe type of energy to offer that to anybody that's interested and anyone wants to embody that themselves.
That's another path you're pursuing.
Yeah,
I
there's a
love
lot of that.
it.
I'm telling you, it's like crazy.
Yes,
Everything.
your life is becoming very complex in many directions, and I love it. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing all that. And because we're getting to the end of our meeting today, of our beautiful interview, one last thing I would like to ask you. If you were to say, to give a thought or an advice to the women of our days, our modern days, what would you say to women from your experience, from whatever you feel?
I would say if you've embodied in this lifetime as a woman, what an amazing gift it is because we're literally at this point where we're waking up. You know the Barbie movie? Oh my gosh, that was amazing. Okay, do you remember that? I truly believe that movie, it has so much like real life, really what's going on with the patriarchy and this childlike boy energy. Like, no, I got to play this role, and I'm in control, and I'm gonna. You know how they forgot? It doesn't even explain that. It doesn't even explain. All of a sudden, they're like, oh, I'm a, boop, boop, boop. I don't know who I am anymore. I'm just a, like, that's us. We've forgotten as a role because we were willing to play. We were willing to play that role for this masculine to have this experience of having power over in order for them to learn that sharing power is better. They create all this hell and all this havoc and all of these terrible experiences over thousands and thousands of years. And we played that role. And guess what? Guess what we got to do now? We got to wake up to this, the most profound, loving mother energy that we get to embody. And it's way better to play that role than to play the one, the men that have to be humbly like, oh, whoops, I've been really screwing you over, haven't I? Whoops. Like the movie kind of shows, and it's like, oh, you can totally settle back in, and we're back to our, you know, like that true energy of what it's meant to be, which is partnership, a beautiful, like symbiotic partnership. But for a while, it was more of this, like, I want to be and have control. And we are waking up. So what are you going to do? Leaning in, it means you get to be empowered from like, I was playing small and I get to grow into this beautiful goddess. Like, that's amazing. How incredible is that? And you don't need permission from any of the men to do that, because guess what? They're not going to give it. But the ones that are ready for that will support and love you. I found my husband, he's been able to do that, which is incredible. But if you're sitting there waiting for them, you're doing it wrong. Empower yourself and see what we create. See that you're initiating them to become humble and see where they do and have been harmful and you've allowed it. And don't judge any of it. Just be like, I allowed it because I chose that, because I love you. And when you truly see that the reason why we've allowed the worst of the worst, like anything you can imagine, the worst case, all of that we think like that's pure evil. That is the worst you could ever do to a child, to a woman, to a man, to anything. We chose that in this God self that understood that we needed to show that you have to learn your lesson in order to truly embody the power and share it the way you need to. And the only way to do that is for you to see that you had your own sovereignty, and we allowed you to do that. And now, guess what? Time is up. And now you get to see why it wasn't good. And all of it is really just the humility, because now there's just this disconnect of like, I don't want to see what I really created. It really was a lot of bad. And I've been hiding from myself and hiding and then trying to project it on everybody else. It's just an accountability thing, which is really hard, but we can help them in that by embodying love and forgiving them 100% and saying, I'm not going to allow you to control me anymore. I'm sorry, but the jig is up and I'm ready to step in my power, and I can love you from here, but you're not going to control me. And I'm not going to be listening to you to tell me how to do it. I'm going to show you what love is, and I'm going to embody a love and a frequency and a forgiveness the way that I feel good to do, so that it makes it easier for you to be invited to your truest, most beautiful, manly expression, which you were always meant to be, which is a pure partner that is 100% like, you are me, I am you, and we want to be separate but equal and true to ourselves and love each other. Like I 100% know and believe like it was created perfectly. We were all created with exactly what we needed in order to play like a symphony of stars and of community. Like if we truly were God, we all one, and it chose to separate and create all of this. It's because each and every aspect of a soul, of a source that it allowed to spread out, was because it was the perfect addition to the orchestra to create. And now we're just waking up to recognize, oh my gosh, my perfect frequency is everything that I've been given. And now I get to live my passion and like zoom together towards the highest expression of love and empowerment and togetherness. And we're done with that. We're done with the old and we're stepping into the new. So for women, oh my gosh, it's like a message of like, wake up, it's not bad anymore. Like, let's just become ourselves and know that it's all within you. You don't have to be the slave or the concubine or the anything anymore. You have everything you need. And when we truly step together, then it reminds me, totally reminds me of, I say this a lot. I'm probably a broken record, but Bug's Life? Do you remember the movie?
Yeah, I loved that
Okay.
movie. It's about empowerment again.
Yes. Okay. That one gave me the chills when I was little, and it gives me chills every time. That moment where they recognize they've been like being controlled by these, the oppressors, you're gonna give me all your stuff because I'm big bad, whatever. And all of a sudden they're like, wait, they like wake up. Wait a second. We outnumber you. We
Exactly.
actually have the power. If we just band together, you are scared of us. And that's why you don't want us to know. That's why we've been suppressed to not know
Yeah.
who we are, because that was the only way we'd ever play this role.
Yeah.
Had to forget. In order
Make
to play the
believe we're
role,
small.
and that's what we're doing. And it's
Yes.
a beautiful path forward. So I would just, I think right now, especially like this, especially on like, social media and everything, is like there's a lot of fear tactics going around, like, oh, end of times, what is really happening? It's all going to go down. It's all bad. But when you truly see it for everything it is, and realize like that the utmost love is here supporting us to bring us into a higher vibration of beauty and love, like just be excited and trust that you're being supported. And all you got to do is stand into your space, and you'll be 100% protected and 100% empowered. And it's going to be a beautiful ride.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for those that don't want to like take accountability,
Yeah.
but it's what they need. And ultimately is so that they can then embody their truest form of partnership. So it's all beautiful. And that's
It is.
amazing.
Yeah. So to me, to summarize what you said, it was beautiful. And I like the reference to Barbie movie. It's we women coming into our powers and owning it, recognizing it for what it is and owning it, but then not using it to take retaliation on what all the patriarch society have done to us for thousands of years, but instead offering that unconditional love and forgiveness and balance the relationship with the man and live the life in that balanced
But also, you got to step up and allow
yes.
them to be where they're at, even if they want to play low and they want to play this lower, denser vibration. It's not about meeting them there. There's going to be so many people that you have to step up and out of the relationship, of the community, of whatever it is, and find your higher vibration so that you can be empowered and not be dragged down into that, because they're grasping. It's like this is kind of like that end scene where it's like now they're like, oh shoot, oh, we got to grasp. So if you want to be a part of that and retaliate, then you're going to be right down there with all that muck and all that pain and all that whatever. And instead, you can just lift yourself up, love them from this higher perspective, and find everyone else is there, like seeing it all for what it is. And it's not scary. It's not, oh my gosh, and oh, it's so bad. It's just like, it's beautiful.
I just got an idea based on what you said and based on your story, and I think it applies to all women, Alissa. So, in order to become this empowered goddess that um, is sovereign, as you mentioned, and I love that word, sovereignty, we need to look inside and find our hurt and make peace with it, heal ourselves, because you cannot shine in your true light, in your true power, unless you heal yourself. And
Right.
guess what? QHHT is a very great technique to help you heal through that. So you
Yeah,
become what you're meant to become in this world. And this applies equally to men and women, because I love seeing male clients. They're coming in through their masculine power as much because they've been hurt. They've been hurt by society, by mentality, by the pressure put on their shoulders, their role as big, buff, masculine, right? That actually repressed, never recognized their emotions. I just had a beautiful interview with a male client, and he talks about this so beautifully. Like you talked about your story. Oh my God, he's such an inspiration for the men out there, how they can come into their own power and forgive and do the self-healing.
right.
Without that healing, we cannot be the embodiment of the love.
Right. And I should definitely mention this. I just realized it could be perceived the wrong way. when I say like a masculine and feminine, I absolutely am not saying like, oh, if you're a man, you're this, and if you're a woman, you're this. We play
No.
more into those roles just because we have, and because that's what's expected of you. If you're a little boy, you're going to be put into this box of you need to be bigger and better. The women are going to be put into this box, you need to be smaller and play this role. That's our role. We inside ourselves very much have both. Like we very much have mother inside of us and we have father inside of us. And we've been doing the same game to ourselves inside ourselves. It's all been enacted. So like the same thing that we say, like there's this part of you that's really ready to stand up and fight up against this other side that's been like controlling you and has played this other role. That's inside you. There is no man or woman that is like you've only played one. You played both. And inside yourself, you're in that same war. And you can stand up to that part of you that's literally saying, no, you're not, it's trying to control you, saying you can't do what you really want to do. You need to be bigger and better than you are. How dare you? There's that voice in us. Like every woman has it, every man has it. And inside us, there's also a woman that says, I can't, I gotta play small, I gotta be this, and I gotta not really shine, I gotta, whatever those things are, it's an imbalance in us. And it's played out bigger in the scale, like if you're a man or woman, but that does not mean you're in that role. You could be playing more either one, but no matter what, you're both. So inside you, there's a part of you that wants to finally stand up for yourself and be so empowered and be so beautiful and like honor all of that. And then there's a part of you that's like, oh, I really need to humble myself. I really need to forgive myself. And I really need to recognize where I've been hurting myself and hurting others. So there's both of that inside of every single one. So I got to be very careful. We're not talking about women and men. We're talking about like this masculine, this feminine, which was imbalanced. Women are down here and men are up here. In order to get here, we have to recognize both of those are in us and we're mirroring those things to each other. But either way, we are both, and we can like stand up for ourselves and recognize inside ourselves where we're being this masculine controller inside ourselves and then projecting into the world, and where we're being this submissive to ourselves and playing small, and then projecting that onto our children and our family, and we're doing it all. But we're both parts very much, and that's very important, I think, to mention.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you so much for bringing up. I'm gonna expand a little bit on it, and then we'll wrap up the meeting today. And it ties into QHHT because QHHT is at foundation a past life regressive hypnosis technique that was created by our beautiful teacher Dolores Cannon, who's was a pioneer in her time. But what we learned from the past lives is that we've been playing all kinds of roles. We all have been women and men in past lives. The soul has no gender. The soul is pure energy. God, love, energy, light equals love equals God. But we play roles in this earthly multiple lives to learn lessons. But as you, Alissa, said, we both, in every body that we go into, in each incarnation, either as a man or a woman, we embody both energies. There is no human body that doesn't have both masculine and feminine in different degrees, different proportions. And that's a great point because we don't talk about women and men. You're right. We're talking about the balancing of these energies. And the more balanced they are in each person, the more balanced there are in the world.
Absolutely.
So I loved your point on this. It was very good. Thank you.
And thank you. And I appreciate you saying that. Absolutely agree. I will say that one important aspect that I recognize that I want like my clients and my family to know, like you don't have to believe in past life. You can believe like you only are in this life. And when you get brought into your dream state, you're just in a dream state. You're experiencing a dream. Like you don't have to buy into past lives in order to truly have this profound experience where you go into this theta level like space where you're seeing things, experiencing things. Because I have seen some people like, oh yeah, past life. Oh no, I don't do that. It's like, no, it's really, I think it's easier. And even Dolores said, like, past lives aren't even, it's not like there's like karma anymore. So
exactly,
who knows what we're going into? But we're going into this dream state where we're experiencing something that our higher consciousness knows is trying to teach us something by that experience. So whether you see it just as a dream and an experience, It doesn't
Mhm.
matter. It doesn't have to be. So I don't even really call it past life. I honestly call it taking you into a dream state to experience something important and then asking your higher self to understand what that experience was about, what you felt, what, like all of that. So taking the whole past life, it opens, I feel like, the door to many people that like don't believe in past lives like I do. But if I didn't, I 100% could still buy into it very easily because you're just going, you dream every single night. What are you experiencing? Whatever you call that, that's what you're doing. So,
It's a great point. It's a great analogy to make people get a better understanding of what is waiting for them in a session. So I think it's really harmless the way you put it. Like it won't scare people out, and it's nothing to be scared of. On the
right,
contrary, it's
right.
such a beautiful experience, like you shared with us. Yes. So, Alissa, thank you very much for being here today with me on this interview. What was such a pleasure and honor to have you. And just, I want you to tell people how they can find you. I'll put in the description of the interview all of our contacts, both yours and mine. But I want you to say it also so people will look it up.
Well, I just got my website up yesterday. So you can find me www.omegahearthealing.com. You can also find me on Facebook. Just the same thing. Well, not .com, Omega Heart Healing. Oh,
That's
and
very
that's my time.
that's a very beautiful name. I love it. I love
Oh,
it.
me too.
Thank you
Resonate.
so much. And I hope to see you in person again. We're going to see each
Yes.
other actually in the retreat in Sedona, the QHHT big family.
Big family. Yay. Thank you.